We have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put two dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Samir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coon. The white man to go nuts if he can't shoot. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Ahmadiyyah.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, given to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations. I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
I'm getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation.
Queen.
Touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I won't always smoke like hookah. Talking reparations. America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. I see a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all in Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat.
This is the sound of Eric Malcolm.
It's a cut on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans, and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got it's me now. You're my truth now. Yeah. I'm here to speak and make it clear. I'm sorry, y'all, for all I've done, but I'm not the only one. In a dark place, I told some lies, but I'm not the only one. We all got secrets under the sun. In the shadows, we played the game. Now I'm standing here taking the blame. A lot of y'all was at the freak off too, so don't put it all on me. That's just the truth. I've been up and down this road trying to find my peace. Confessions of a man without a release. Oh, now, hey. In the mirror, I saw the truth hiding in plain view. I'm coming clean now, this burden to undo. We were all there dancing shadows in the night, acting wrong when we knew what was right. But deep inside, there's more you must see. In this room of mirrors, it's not just me. I walk this path with heavy chains, trying to shed those sins, erase the stains. I've seen the highs and the pushing low, fading in the spotlight. That's how it goes. Yeah. Now I'm standing here, hard on my sleeve, trying to clear the air, let the demons relieve. Every wrong turn and every mistake led me to this moment, let my soul quake. Plays a part in the shadows deep, lost in the game. It's promises to keep. Right, hello everyone. Thanks for tuning in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is another dose of your daily vitamins. So let's get ready to get black into it. Everyone, please get those likes up. Please like and share. Thank you in advance, beloveds. Okay. Remember, it doesn't cost you a single thing. You can do it all for free. All right. All it takes is just a second of your time. Pay attention. Okay. So let's get into it. Let's get into it, beloveds. Now, with that video that just ended, I know some of you are probably tired of seeing that video today. I've played it about 3 times, I believe, at each live, but I played it because I want you to pay attention. All of those people at that party, the parties that, Diddy was throwing, like I told you earlier, lots of those people were involved in those freak-offs. Lots of those people are on footage. And now one of those people has been called out. And who is that? Well, I'm so glad you asked. You see, it's none other than Ashton Kutcher. And I find it interesting because, you see, some people are just now catching up to where the queen's already gone. Some people are catching up to where the queen's already gone. Like the story I did about Fahim Muhammad today, right? Okay, about the land that he purchased, the possibility that he could have been helping Diddy traffic children, specifically migrant children. As I often have told you, that there was 320,000 migrant children missing, okay, that came over here. Where are Biden and Kabami? Where are they to find these children to offer us an explanation? Okay, so all of these things coincide and come together. Now, I just saw someone literally copying my entire video verbatim copying all of my talking points verbatim. And it's really interesting because I don't even follow this person, but I have seen them a couple of times. And so their notification, or not the notification, but I was scrolling and their title popped up. And I said, this is interesting. Let me see who this is. And let me see if they're going to shout the queen out. Because, like I told you, these bigger content creators always steal the queen's talking points and try to give themselves the credit. Don't even give me a little old shout out. But so I just hopped in their chat and said, girl, I literally just did this story. And so you're just copying. And she went on to curse me out, call me all sorts of names, talk about my head wrap, my locks, and all of that. But for someone who calls themselves a hoe, I don't expect anything other than that. Okay? I don't expect anyone other than that person. Someone who calls themselves, refers to themselves as a hoe. If you have to call yourself a hoe, or you choose to call yourself a hoe, you don't have any respect for yourself. So, beloved, I clearly wouldn't expect you to have any for the queen. Okay? I mean, the things that we call ourselves should be indicative of how we view ourselves. You see, I view myself as a queen. She clearly views herself as a nosy hoe, because that's who I'm talking about. Nosy hoe, for any of you that follow her. You can tell her what the queen said. Now, queen, get them Bama straight. Hashtag queen of receipts. You already know, beloved. Thank you for your kind words and your contribution. Peace, love, and blessings. Okay, so with that all being said, let's get into it, beloveds. Okay, let's get into it, because Ashton Kutcher has been called out. He's been getting dragged left and right for supposedly being accused of hiding Diddy's secrets. Now, I'm sorry, but didn't I tell you all this last year sometime? I have the video for the receipts to be shown and the timestamps to boot. So this is what I'm talking about when I say others are just now catching up to things that I've said a long time ago, quite frankly. All right? Let's not forget, as I keep mentioning, that it was me and Odd Negro's official who said in 2021 that Cassie was going to expose Diddy. All right, so let's get into it. Here's what they say. Ashton Kutcher slammed as videos of him laughing about Diddy's parties resurfaced. And then he said, there's a lot I can't tell. I want you all to pay attention, because this just came out today. This is hot off the press, but not for you guys, because I've already told you all this. So Ashton Kutcher's longtime friendship with Sean Diddy Combs has come under scrutiny, and the music mogul's ongoing legal woes. Okay, amid his ongoing legal woes. Now, the actor appeared in a Hot Ones segment in 2019, during which he was asked to shed light on Diddy's infamous parties. He said, I've got a lot I can't tell, with a knowing smirk spread across his face like a whole Cheshire cat. Okay, see, I noticed this when he said it in 2019. And that's why when all the nefarious allegations against Diddy came out, that's why I told you these things. And that's also why Ashton Kutcher is included in that video that you just watched. Now, mind you, what I find interesting is that the article where they're talking about this has those same pictures of Ashton and Diddy that I have in my video. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen so you can see for yourselves. Please pay attention. Okay, here we go. Look at them, all buddy. I mean, just all friendly and all of that, right? So with that all being said, I want you all to pay attention. Well, those are not exactly the same pictures that I used in the video, but you get my point. That him and Ashton are extremely close and have been for years. And remember, I told you last year that they became such good friends when they were both doing something for, I think it was MTV. So they've been friends for decades, at least about 20 years. Okay, I think they were doing something with MTV or VH1, and that's how they became friends. And this is according to Ashton himself. Tawana Cook said Danny Masterson was a very good friend. Yes. And we know that Danny Masterson's now doing 30 years for Grape. Okay. And Ashton and his wife, Mila Kunis, they spoke up for him. They wrote letters to the judge asking for leniency for a man who's a whole rapist. So I'm sorry, but that just goes to show what kind of judgment they have, or lack thereof. Okay. So, but let's continue. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. So anyway, he said there's a lot that he couldn't tell. Now, Kutcher spent a split second considering his words. So he was trying to choose them carefully before he added, saying, can't tell that one either.
I'm cycling through them. So that means there's a whole lot of stories, a whole lot of incidents and events and things that he couldn't speak on. Okay, so I'm sorry, but it's safe to assume that he was definitely, allegedly, at those freak offs. Okay, and on the footage. Now, Diddy was placed on the S watch, which we all know, which is standard for high profile individuals, as he remains jailed at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center, according to sources. But what is it that Ashton is hiding from him? Now, it's unclear which parties in particular that Ashton Kutcher was even talking about, but he described them as weird. That's what he said when he was on the Hot One segment years ago. That's what he said. He said they were weird. What was weird? 1,000 bottles of baby oil on the wall? That's weird. SEX rooms in your house? That's weird. Bondage material, SEX toys? That's all weird to me. Okay, that's all weird to me. Allowing the person that you're involved in an intimate relationship with to be passed around with others. That's weird. So I think that's all what Ashton was talking about. You having cameras in your house, even over 200, supposedly about 250 in your residence, that captures nefarious things that people are doing when they don't know that they're being videoed from all angles. That's all weird. So I'm sorry, Ashton, when you say it's weird, beloved, I have to think that you are talking about these same things. Okay, so what secrets do Ashton and Diddy have? What secrets has Ashton helped Diddy to hide? Okay, please pay attention, because at the end of the day, there are absolutely some people who have been alleged to have covered up things for Diddy. Let's not forget how they say that Usher was one of the people there. Jimmy Iovine was one of the people there. This is all alleged. When Cassie was beaten and abused by Diddy. Okay, so please pay attention. Yeah, there's lots of people. So in September of 2023, Ashton Kutcher resigned from the anti-child sex abuse organization that he in fact founded in 2009. And this was following backlash for writing a letter to the court in support of his former colleague and friend, Danny Masterson, who was sentenced for rape. He described the decision to write the letter as an error in judgment. Isn't that what people always say when they, or at least people who look like Ashton, isn't that what they always say, though, when they do something nefarious and they get exposed for it? Now, Black people don't say that. We don't say it was an error in judgment. Black people say, oh, well, my bad. That's what Black folks say. But when they say an error in judgment, oh, I made a poor decision, that's what people like Ashton say. So Diddy is on a no bail hold and has pleaded not guilty to the charges against him. His attorney, Mark Agnifilo, said he plans to file another motion in the future seeking his release. Well, that's going to be to no avail. Okay, I'll just go ahead and tell you that now. It's not going anywhere. He's staying in jail until it's time for his trial, unless he gets Epstein first. Okay? He also vowed to expedite his client's criminal trial. Well, I hope he does that, because I definitely want to see Diddy on trial for his crimes or alleged crimes. So with that all being said, now let's go, since they brought up Ashton, let's go to this video that I did previously, as I told you. I'm going to share my screen. Please like and share. Thank you in advance. Let me share my screen. That he can't tell, and then he thought about a story, and then to lock somebody up. That's why they raid a home. When they burst in like that, they're coming to lock somebody up. Okay? If they're just serving a search warrant, they don't have to do all of that, because they're just coming in to look for stuff. But the way they came with all of those police officers, and then they had the choppers and all that stuff, and then they just burst in through the doors and all of that. That's what they do when they're coming to lock somebody up. So why was nobody locked up? Well, we're going to get into that. Now, it goes on to say,
Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Goes on to say that the Associated Press reported that the searches are believed to be a part of an investigation in the trafficking allegations made against the rapper. Now, during a 2019 episode of Hot Ones that recently resurfaced, Ashton was asked about the parties at Combs' house by host Sean Evans. He said, "I've got a lot I can't tell." Pausing for a moment before he added, and then that brings to your attention. When I went over that NDA weeks ago, let me pull it up real quick. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. I'm gonna go through this briefly because it's a lot. It's a lot that I have to talk about, and I don't want to be stuck on one thing. Okay, so with that all being said, hold on. Okay, so with that all being said, here's the thing. That NDA is something that Diddy basically used to silence the people in his circle. Because for one, it's just so broad and all of that, and has all of these, all this legalese in it. As I told you all, I said the average person probably wouldn't even understand everything that was in there. And then some people would just sign it because it's a lot to read and also to comprehend. And most people are not going to pay for an attorney to come and read this and explain it to them. Okay, most people are just not going to do that. And I'm not talking about celebrities, but I'm talking about just regular people. The chat. Oh. Any and all information describes throughout this whole thing. Limitation, without limitation. Pictures, recordings, records, documents, property, merchandise, or any other information related to the artist or the personal, professional, and or, I mean, just all of this, other activities of the artist or the artist party. I mean, not just him. This covers people in his family, people that he knows, people that he works with. This is all crazy, like I told you all before. And so, is that why Ashton is saying that he can't say anything? I just have questions.
Now, the reason I'm showing this again is because I want you to pay attention. You see, Diddy thought that he'd covered all of his tracks. He thought that he'd hidden out everything. He thought all of his little bones were still in the closet. Okay? Because that NDA was so very thorough. He thought no one would dare go against it because they knew who he was, that he had power and that he had connections and that he had money and all of that. And also that he could sue them if they breached it. But the thing that he didn't bank on clearly is that any of the things that he engaged in that were in fact illegal, the NDA doesn't cover any of them, no matter how broad it is, no matter how many things that he puts and includes and implements into it. It's not going to protect you from criminal activities. So that's where it all went wrong for him. With that all being said, I absolutely think that Ashton didn't want to say anything for that reason, and also because he likely was engaged in some of the nefariousness. Okay, but that's just my opinion. Now, let's talk about, some of these people that were accused of covering for Diddy. Because let's not forget that Don Richard claims that Diddy punched Cassie in the stomach right in front of Usher, Neo, Jimmy Iovine, King Combs. And none of them did a thing. Nobody tried to intervene. According to King Combs, who faces his own serious allegations, the claims are untrue. Okay? And he defended his father with the alleged text message receipts. And this is all after Don Richard's bombshell lawsuit against Diddy. Okay? This continues to shake up the industry. I just want you all to pay attention. All right. And she talked about these people that have seen these things and witnessed these things and didn't do a darn thing. So doesn't that make them almost as guilty as Diddy? Okay. They were complicit. They didn't say anything. These are grown men. These are not women that I'm talking about. These are grown men. They could have stepped in and said, "Hey, what are you doing? You don't put your hands on a woman." They could have said, "Hey, why don't you just take a second to calm down? Hey, let me just talk to you for a second," and pulled him to the side. But no, they didn't do any of that. They just sat there and watched what he did and really didn't care. Probably because they were plied with drugs and alcohol or just sitting there having too much fun at the freak offs to give a darn. That's all I'm saying. And again, this is all alleged. So Dawn Richardson's description of her time behind the scenes with Bad Boy Diddy are disturbing. Okay, in the 56 or the 55-page filing, she asserts that she not only experienced sexual assault by Diddy, but also witnessed it happening to his ex and former artist, Cassie Ventura. And so, with that all being said, some of these people who didn't say anything, and then some of these people who only decided to say something when the shite hit the fan, and after Cassie's lawsuit came out, and then other lawsuits started coming out, and then they decided to say something. Well, here's the thing. If you didn't say anything then, if you didn't do anything then, if you helped to cover it up and sweep it under the rug then, please don't try to come out and say something now and think that we're supposed to praise you for doing so. Okay? Please don't come out and act like we're supposed to praise you for doing so, especially when you were inadvertently or even directly involved in some of the BS. Let's talk about who I'm specifically speaking on. Now, I'm not speaking on Gene Deal because Gene Deal has actually said that he did intervene, and he even went off on Diddy for threatening to slap his own mother. That's what a real man does. They intervene, they say something. And then Roger Bonds, though I don't really find much favor in the stuff that he said, because I think that in some instances he was complicit. Matter of fact, in most instances, I think he was complicit. When he came out and said that Diddy was going to attack Cassie, or he attacked her in the car when they got to Sunset Boulevard or something like that. If you all remember, I showed the video of him discussing this when he was being interviewed by Chris Cuomo, I believe it was. Do you all remember, or maybe it was Pierce Morgan, but either way, you all remember when he was talking about that story, at first I was thinking, okay, all right, he stopped Diddy from going in. But then he said something that let me know this wasn't about him trying to protect Cassie or Kim. This was about him trying to protect Diddy. I mean, I know that's what he was being paid to do, but at the end of the day, is he really, is it really okay for him to sit there and watch a man brutalize a woman, knowing that he could have stopped it? Somehow he could have intervened on the woman's behalf. But in this instance, it seems he intervened on Diddy's behalf, because remember what he said. He said, man, do you realize where we are? Do you know where we are? Now, when somebody says something like that and they're trying to get a person to stop doing something, that's clearly because they don't want the person to get in trouble. They don't want you to get embarrassed. They don't want you to be, caught on camera by the paparazzi. They don't want you to get arrested. They don't want you to get in any trouble. They don't want you to make trouble for yourself. Not so much that they're trying to protect the other person. So that's what I took from it. Now, maybe that's not the way he intended it, but that's how it came off to me. That's all I'm saying. But also, and I'm going to go back to the footage in just a second, because I think there's a clip in here that I want to show. Now, but also, when somebody basically, puts their self in harm's way to defend someone else, well, that's what real men do. Now, I'm not saying you need to catch a bullet for anybody, but what I'm saying is, if you see a man trying to brutalize a woman, the least you could do, in my opinion, especially if you're friends with this man, I'm not saying do this to a stranger. We know how that can turn out. But if it's someone that's your friend or your relative, someone you're close to, and you see them about to do something crazy, you could just say, hey, look, don't do that. You don't want to put your hands on a woman, do you? Right? So you can put them in check some kind of way. That's all I'm saying. Now let's continue. Likes up, everyone, please like and share.
Is that why he said that he can't say anything? I don't know. Christopher said the lawyer did a great job. Well, the lawyer did a good job on that, but here's the thing. At the end of the day, as I told you all weeks ago, months ago, that even if you sign an NDA, if there was something illegal that happened and transpired, they can't hold you to that. And I just told you a couple of weeks ago that even if you sign the NDA and you get subpoenaed to come to court to testify, well, that NDA is not going to stop you from being able to do so. That's how that goes. Okay. So he did all of that, but it's not going to stop anything, because look, he already settled the lawsuit with Cassie for $30 million. And Cassie still has been talking to the feds. Okay. She still has been talking to the feds. The audio. Likes up, everyone, please like and share.
I bet you didn't know this. In North Gaza, after the conflict, some families are,
which is what I'm interested in right now. Also, the president of West Coast Trial Lawyers and high-profile trial attorney in that jurisdiction, didn't even think about it. Nobody ever thought Epstein would go down, right? But look at the comparisons. I'm very intrigued by the fact that they both used yachts. they both would travel into international waters to wrongfully do their deeds. Now, all of this amounts to allegations against Combs. Nothing has been proven. It has been proven against Epstein. Private planes.
Now, I wanted you all to hear Nancy Grace talking about that because she just reiterated what I'd already said when I told you guys that there was a Jeffrey Epstein connection to Diddy. It's no coincidence that Diddy has a lot of the same behaviors and is accused of a lot of the same crimes because at the end of the day, they were very much so alike. Diddy and Epstein were friends, okay? How do I know that? Well, because Ronald Burkle, who's been called Diddy's sugar daddy, he was on Jeffrey Epstein's, he was on in his little black book. His phone number was there. So quite frankly, he was good friends with Epstein. So why wouldn't Diddy have been also? And let's not forget that when they had the list that came out of the flight list of who went to Epstein's island, the one that they told us was fake, Diddy's name was on there. You see, Diddy's name was on there. Jay-Z's name was on there. Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, Oprah Winfrey, all of those names were on there. Now, maybe that was a fake list. Maybe none of those people ever went to Epstein's island. But what I do know is that when they told us they were going to release the real list, they didn't release any list. They just gave us some transcripts. Okay? Lillian says, Queen, I appreciate all your hard work, every morning wake-up call, daily vitamins, and all the lifelines you've given us. Much love and respect to you always. Thank you so much, beloved, for your kind words. I really appreciate you for that. And thank you for your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings. Okay? Is support the arts in here? I see somebody putting support the arts in here. Okay, support the arts. Listen, beloved, you know I love you. But you're about to hear some harsh realities about your girl Kabami. So please brace for impact because I'm about to go in. Okay? I'm about to go in, beloved. Just so you know, it's not all about Diddy today. Now, so with that all being said, let's talk about these nefarious parties that Diddy was having. Honey, they said Diddy was having these sex freak-off parties at the Hamptons. And let's not forget that the Homeland Security investigators, one of them gave some information, remained anonymous, and gave information about the sex toys, the sex rooms, and all sorts of nefariousness. I can't even get my words out. Nefariousness, and even said that there was bondage stuff in there, and that there was a whole corn with a P production going on. And I find that all very strange. Okay, just like Ashton said, weird. The question is, how many people were involved in this stuff? And did they really enjoy what they were doing? Now, I'm not talking about the people who were allegedly drugged and taken advantage of. I'm not talking about any of them. I'm talking about the ones who were allegedly complicit. Like, according to Lil Rod's lawsuit, Christina Coram, okay? Ethiopia Haftamari, Lucian Grange, and others. Those are the ones I'm talking about. Did they really have a good time? Because I hope they did. Now, inside Sean Diddy Combs' Hampton's sex parties featuring gay rappers who were high on ketamine. Please pay attention. So let's talk about it. So jailed hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs' alleged freak-off parties stunned one drug dealer after he saw household name celebrities having sex with one another. Now, the dealer said Diddy opened the door to his former Hampton's mansion while wearing nothing but a robe and brought him through to the back bedroom to make the Coca-Cola deal. And I'm not talking about the kind of Coca-Cola you drink. I'm talking about the kind that you put on your face, specifically your nose. That's all I'm saying. So weird-ish was starting to happen, he says. Celebrity guys effing each other. They were back in bedrooms, and it was like the inner sanctum. This all sounds like what Cat Williams was talking about. When Diddy says he wants to party, you got to tell him no. You got to tell him no. And I'm going to tell you something else I bet you all didn't catch. I bet nobody caught this. I bet nobody caught this. And I want y'all to pay attention because you heard it here first. I guarantee you. And the reason I know you heard it here first is because I literally just caught it myself. Think about when Cat Williams said that Diddy offered him $50 million on 4 different occasions. And how I told you back then when Cat said that Diddy was likely trying to set him up, trying to offer him the money to get him to come to a party, put something in his drink, have him pass out, and then have something nefarious happen to him, record it on video, and then be able to silence Cat. Because now I can blackmail you. sexual blackmail is what it's called in Hollywood in the industry. So just remember that. But here's the thing. Did anybody catch that 50 million? That's a magic number for Diddy, apparently. See, this is how you know Cat Williams ain't lying. Cat said Diddy offered him $50 million, but guess what? They also say that Diddy offered $50 million to the judge to get a bail. $50 million is apparently his magic number. Just like I pointed out to you that Oprah Winfrey's magic number seems to be 50,000 because she allegedly paid $50,000 to shut up the woman who accused her stepfather, Vernon Winfrey, of sexual harassment. And then they say she also allegedly paid $50,000 to her ex-boyfriend, Tom or Tim, to get him to be quiet about her lesbian affairs. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember that? Reggie said money can't buy everything. Well, it darn sure can't, because everything ain't for sale, nor should it be, beloved. Now, I'm going to show you all a part of a picture in this article. I can't show you the whole picture because it's a little risque. All right? But I'm going to show you what I can, just to give you an idea of what was going down at those freak-offs. Please pay attention. Y'all see that? It's two women hugging each other and somebody's drenching them in champagne. This is how they were getting down, honey. Please pay attention. This is all nefarious, okay? All nefarious. But I digress. And it says under that photo, it says Diddy pouring champagne over two unidentified near-naked women at one of his early white parties in 1998. Sources tell the Post that he would also hold more debauched freak-offs at the same home. So it got even worse. And the reason I couldn't show you that whole picture, because they literally are almost naked, okay? I'm talking about cheeks everywhere. Now, you'd see two people you would not think would be hooking up, rappers. That was what shocked me. This is what the dealer told the Post. I won't say names, but there were rappers that I immediately lost all respect for and could not take them seriously ever again. The drug dealer or the drug peddler added that many people at the party, which also included a mix of female rappers and hookers, that's what he called them, were already high on ketamine and GHB. He said, that was when I got the F out of there. He added, noting that he did not see Diddy partake in any sexual activity at the event. And that's likely because he left early. He got the F up out of there. Now, here's the picture. I knew it was a picture somewhere that I had in that video. Here's the picture I'm talking about right here. Here's one of the pictures I'm talking about right here. Okay? These were the people that were likely at the freak-offs. Look at Leonardo DiCaprio. Who would have thought? Okay, who would have thought that he'd been hanging out with a Diddy? Here's another one of the pictures I showed. There's the one of Ashton right there that I also showed in the video. Okay? So like I said, some people are just now catching up to what the Queen has been saying for the past year or so. Now, with that all being said, Diddy's 4,500 square foot East Hampton mansion was the venue for his annual celebrity-studded white parties and attended by many of the biggest stars in Hollywood, including Leonardo DiCaprio, Mariah Carey, and Jay-Z, to name a few. However, there is no suggestion that any of these celebrities were present on the night of anything nefarious happening. Okay? We don't know that for sure. But, we can only draw our conclusions. All right, that's all we can do is draw conclusions. We don't know what they were really getting down and doing, who was really involved in the nefariousness of it all. But we do know that some people were. We do know that some people know something because the Homeland Security investigators have already told us, that they have footage, some of these celebrities at those parties. Now, we don't know which ones they have footage of. They know, we don't. And we may never know at the end of the day. All right. But this, I promise you, is why people are quiet. Because either they were there at those parties, engaging in those activities and don't know what all Diddy has on them, or They know someone or some people who were there, and they don't want to expose them. Okay? So please pay attention. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Now, let's also talk about the fact that Diddy, it's been alleged. Now, I don't know if you all have heard this. I think I mentioned this to you before. I'm pretty sure I did. Do you all remember me telling you that they said Diddy was doing voodoo? Y'all remember that? For those of you who follow the spiritual channel, I told you a couple of weeks ago that they do voodoo in the music industry and in Hollywood, and not for good reasons, just for nefarious things. And I, in fact, showed you a video of Rick Ross talking about how he did voodoo and got a goat and cut it and all this nefarious stuff. And then Gunplay, the rapper, he said that he does it. He said he used Santeria, to be specific. He said they used it to keep from going to jail, and he didn't go to jail, and they had him on video. I saw the video. So clearly it worked, is all I'm saying. Now, with that all being said, it may have worked, but you're going to pay the price later when you use those types of things to do nefarious things, okay? It's called the laws of karma, the universal laws. So, with that all being said, if you remember me talking about these so-called rituals that Diddy was engaging in, then you may also remember me telling you that, Diddy allegedly was using Kim Porter and Cassie Ventura's menstrual flow for nefarious things. Now, it was alleged a while ago that basically they would have to save this stuff and give it to him. What was he using it for? Well, allegedly, it was said that he was using it for these rituals. Now, that sounds plausible to me because when they do voodoo and nefarious things, and I'm not saying voodoo's nefarious. What I'm saying is this: you can use anything for good or bad. If you're someone who's a voodoo practitioner, a high priestess, or whatever, you could be using it for something good, to benefit yourself or to help someone else. Just like the Haitians in 1804 used it to defeat their enemies, okay, during the Haitian Revolution. And unfortunately, it's just too bad for me, in my opinion, that our ancestors here in the United States didn't do the same. Our ancestors should have done the exact same. Maybe they didn't know about it, but I'm sure they had other spiritual practices. But bottom line is, you can use it for good or bad. And these people are clearly using it for bad and nefarious things, okay? So they'll get karma in the end. I mean, Diddy's getting his right now. So did Diddy really use that menstrual flow for nefarious things such as rituals? I think he did. I think that possibly is why he had, such a level of protection too, that he may have used it to gain power and control over people to a certain degree. I don't know. But it all sounds nefarious is all I'm saying. Mr. Elevation said, I believe it. Okay, thank you. All right. RG Titan says facts. Claudette says right. Okay, so now with that all being said, Diddy's just nefarious at the end of the day, as far as I'm concerned. Nobody can convince me that all of these allegations that have been levied and waged against him are not true. Some of them may not be true, but a majority of them, oh, I absolutely believe them. I absolutely believe them. And at this point, Tupac's been dead almost 30 years, and we've not ever gotten any justice for his death. Now, mind you, Dwayne Keefe D. Davis is set to go to trial November the 4th. And he's already implicated Diddy by saying that Diddy paid $1 million to somebody named Scoop, or whatever the guy's name is, I forget. But the bottom line is Diddy going to pay for it? I don't think so. So if he doesn't pay for what, the hand that he allegedly had in Tupac and Biggie's demise, as far as I'm concerned, get him on whatever you can. That's how I feel about it. I don't have any empathy or sympathy for Diddy. None whatsoever. Okay? None whatsoever. And sometimes I would like to, but I just don't. And I just can't do it. When I think about all of the people that he has hurt and all of the lives that he has ruined, Shine said that Diddy destroyed his life. Remember that. Shine did 10 years in prison over lies that Diddy told, and J-Lo helped him to cover up. Okay? I want you all to pay attention. All right? Because sometimes people put these celebrities on pedestals that they don't even deserve to be on. They worship them as if they're gods, and they're not. Okay? So let's talk about this Toronto rapper who has been charged in human trafficking in a whole ring after a 5-month investigation. Why is this important, Queen Ahmadiyyah? What the hell does this have to do with Diddy? Again, I'm so glad you asked. You see, because this shows that maybe there's a pattern of this sort of thing going on in the music industry. Okay, now this person's from Toronto. They're Canadian. Maybe this crosses different, boundaries, different borders, international borders. Clearly it does, because it's been alleged that Diddy was doing these things internationally. And as I told you on the last live, when I spoke about Fahim Muhammad and the land that he bought by the southern border wall, which I look at that land and think, why would I ever want to buy it? I wouldn't care how cheap it is. I don't want to be out there with all that crime, with all that low vibrational activity going on. I would feel scared for my life. I would literally feel that I was in danger. Cartels coming across, smugglers, coyotes, and all this stuff going on. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be anywhere near that, which lets me think that maybe he was doing something nefarious with Diddy. Okay, maybe that's why they bought all that land out there. Now, that may not even be true, but that's just my suspicion. So, following a 5-month-long investigation, Toronto rapper Lady SB is among 5 individuals who are being charged for their alleged participation in operating a human trafficking ring. See, that's also important because of what Jonathan Oddie said when he said that Diddy was trying to traffic drugs through the music industry. When Jaguar Wright said maybe a couple of years ago, that Diddy was trafficking people through the music industry. Okay? When they talk about these hip hop agendas, where you're trying to apply people with alcohol and copious amounts of drugs, where you're trying to push binge drinking, is that why all of these rappers, Diddy, Jay-Z, even 50 Cent, is that why they all get involved in selling liquor or being the face for liquor brands? I don't know. Now, with 50 Cent, I'll say that I honestly think 50 is just a astute businessman. But Jay-Z and Diddy, I don't know about them because they're nefarious, in my opinion. Now, according to a report from Toronto CTV News on Wednesday, September 18th, Halton Regional Police alleged the group had multiple victims from September of 2019 till September of 2024. So they've been holding these people for years. Now, SB, whose real name is Sabrina Leitz Moniz, along with fellow rapper Casino Barnes, whose real name is Prince Monroe, which his real name sounds like a stage name, and his brother, Jamie Monroe, each face multiple charges, including trafficking in persons, knowingly advertising sexual services, and assault. This all sounds like what Diddy was doing, so please pay attention. 2 others, Jonathan Bennett and Shuwayne Mitchell, face 1 count each of procuring, exercising control. And upon their arrest, the police seized a large sum of cash, a loaded gun, a prohibited magazine. Okay, and I'm not talking about a magazine you read. I'm talking about a magazine for a gun. Okay, a vehicle and documents identifying some of the victims. And in an interview with No Jumper in 2023, Lady SB was asked about her income. While she couldn't elaborate on how she makes her money, she did allude to some illegal activities. Now, she also discussed previously being arrested on gun charges. A few years back, Houston legend Mike Jones addressed rumors he was involved in human trafficking. This has likely been going on for a while, people. Okay, it's time for everybody to pay attention. Now, he was quickly proving his innocence with receipts because he was accused of it. Why would someone accuse Mike Jones of doing such a thing? Well, likely because there's a pattern of it going on within the music industry, specifically the hip hop industry. Okay, and he just wanted to set the record straight and prove that he didn't have anything to do with it. And speaking of setting the record straight, they say call the sergeant of the city where they say the rumor happened and see what he says. This is what Mike Jones said in a Twitter post back in 2016. He then went on to attach a screenshot of an email from Sergeant Bill Grayson of the San Antonio Special Victims Unit. In the email, Sergeant Grayson states that the San Antonio Police Department has never filed charges against Michael Jones for the criminal offense of human trafficking and has never been involved in any investigation regarding human or sexual assault, human trafficking or sexual assault, as was mentioned in articles against Michael Jones. So after sharing the email from Sergeant Grayson, Jones questioned those who believe the rumors of his alleged involvement in the human trafficking. He said, I swear people will believe anything. The time these people be having to come up with these rumors amaze me. Spread this rumor. This is what he tweeted. And you know, a lot of times you have to be careful, especially when you're talking about celebrity gossip. That's why I don't like to talk about celebrity gossip as just my only talking points on ScrewTube. That's why I'm so glad and I take such pride in the fact that I'm versatile, that I can talk about anything and capture people's interest. I can come up with a variety of different topics, subjects, or whatever. But when you just talk about celebrity gossip as a regular, you have to be careful because gossip is really just rumors. And when you're out here just spewing rumors about things of which you really don't know to be true, and you try to paint the narrative as if they are true without saying, oh, this is my opinion, I can't substantiate it, this is all alleged, without saying those things, that's how you end up getting sued. Okay, that's how you end up getting sued. So please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, let's get into Kabami, honey, because I got the smoke for her today. All right, support the arts. You're not going to like it, beloved. I'm here to tell you. But before I get into it, let's have a word from my sponsor.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
All right, so you can purchase your 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts, and also at Walmart.com. Okay? And make sure you try it because it is really good and it works wonders. All right. And so with that all being said, so Kamala did an interview the other day with a Black journalist a few days ago. Let me see if I can pull that up. Now, did I already show you all this interview? I know I showed you all an interview the other day about Kabami when she was just giving us a whole bunch of word salad and it really wasn't making any sense. Okay. I'm going to go to just a couple of clips. As a matter of fact, what I'm going to do, oh goodness, I just deleted it. Hold on, beloveds. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to show a couple of clips of it because I have the full interview. I'm just going to show a few clips. Hold on, let me send this to my email real quick. And so, but before I get into this, hold on. Okay, so before I get into this, I'm going to show you another video that I saw Kabami, and shout out to Truth Over Everything for sending me this because it's really ticked me off. This really made me say, you know what? There's no denying it. Kabami doesn't give a damn about Black people. And why doesn't she give a damn about Black people? Because she's not Black. Now, I know some of you want to keep telling yourselves that, but she absolutely isn't. And that's why she told that story about washing her collard greens in the tub. Please pay attention. Please pay attention. No one who's really Black would ever have said something so idiotic, okay? Nor would they have even done it, if in fact she even did. Okay, so, but with that all being said, let's talk about it, okay? Because Kamala did something to me. She clearly dissed these young Black folk. She dissed them. What she did was, in fact, disrespectful. Okay? That's what she did. It was disrespectful, and it's just a brief clip, but I just want you to see. I want you to see this. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to share my screen. Likes up, everyone, please. like, and share. That's right. She is not like us, beloved. She sure isn't.
What did you do to her cat?
Okay, so you all saw that, right? Did you all see that? Did you all see that? Y'all see how she just really dismissed them? Went out there and shook their hands, turned around and waved her hand and walked off. They probably thought they were going to get a good conversation or that she was going to greet them in a, a more pleasant way. She seemed to me, and maybe I'm just being biased. I don't know, but this is how I honestly feel. Once in the chat if you agree with me, choose if you don't. But in my opinion, it looked to me like she didn't give a darn about them. And she was quite frankly annoyed that she even had to speak with them or engage with them in the first place. That's what I took from it. Sweetie says actions speak louder than words. Absolutely, beloved. Okay. And it's not always what you say, it's how you say it. Okay. So a lot of ones in the chat. So clearly everyone agrees with me, or at least most of you do. Thank you. Because I know I'm not crazy. When I saw that, I'm like, honey, she don't care nothing about these black folk. Look how she just did them. And here's the thing. It didn't take for me to see that to know that she doesn't care about people, black people. I knew that when she had all that attitude and the swing in her shoulders and the attitude and the roll in her neck when she said, no, I'm not going to sit here and say, let's be clear. Let's be very clear. No, I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm going to do anything specifically for black people. No. All of that was attitude. That's how you know she really meant what she was saying. Not because she just couldn't say she was going to do something for us because of politics or being politically correct. That's how she genuinely felt. You could see that in her body language. And please remember, I do study body language, okay? I won't say I'm an expert, but I'm really good at it. Okay, so please pay attention. And then the person who sent me that video, Truth Over Everything, said in the caption, she looks like she couldn't stand those folks. That is how she looked. Okay, so I have to agree. Okay, so with that all being said, now let's talk about how they say she flip flops. Let's talk about how they say she flip flops real quick, because I've already told you all how she flip flops, talking about fracking bans, and then all of a sudden, no fracking bans, and just going from here to there.
And this business about taking everyone's guns away. Tim Walz and I are both gun owners. We're not taking anybody's guns away. So stop with the continuous lying about this stuff. Part of my approach to this is I was a career prosecutor for most of my career. I have personally prosecuted homicide cases. I have personally looked at autopsies. I have personally seen what assault weapons do to the human body. And so I feel very strongly that it is consistent with the Second Amendment and your right to own a gun to also say we need an assault weapons ban. They're literally tools of war. They were literally designed to kill a lot of human beings quickly.
Ramen?
Yes.
Now I want y'all to pay attention because she told people to stop lying. That's what she said. Stop with the lying. Like they're painting narratives. Like they're just making up stuff about her randomly just to be malicious. Girl, that's literally what you said previously. So if you say something previously and then later on you change your mind and people don't know that you changed your mind, okay, they don't know that you've really changed your whole stance because you did it so quick, a whole 360 real fast. It looks like you're just being fake. It looks like you're a hypocrite. It looks like you're a liar, Kabami. That's all I'm saying. Okay, that's all I'm saying. All right. So with that all being said, Mr. Elevation says, Kabami, 12 tribes won't work on you. Sorry. Okay. Root Tracker says the body language guy went in on her on this. Really? Okay. And so I know that I'm making sense. All right. So with that all being said, honey, I cannot with Kabami because she's just as fake as they come. She is as fake as they come. Now, somebody had a video that was sent to me. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Somebody, it was Truth Over Everything sent me this video. Hold on. Sent me this very interesting video. Let me see if I send it to my other device. Hold on. And basically, Oprah was trying to give Kabami a lifeline, in my opinion, trying to help her off the ledge. And Kabami didn't even catch the rope. She didn't even catch on to it. So let me just go. Hold on. Give me just a second. Let me look for Truth Over Everything's video. You know what? While I'm looking for that, I'll tell you what I'll do. Let's go to this video clip because Ben Shapiro. Now, I'm not a fan of Ben Shapiro from the Daily Wire, but he's obviously done some sort of documentary on Kabami. It's like a 3-part series, I believe, where he's calling her out for being fake and all kinds of other things. And I'm sorry, I hate to say it, but I actually have to agree. I have to agree with him on some of these things. So I'm going to go to the clip of the trailer. Okay, I'm going to put up an overlay because I don't want nor need any smoke from ScrewTube.
Is a hair's breadth from the Oval Office.
She's so bad. She's so pathetic.
But how did she get here? How did someone with such a knack for failure manage to climb the greasy pole to the precipice of the most powerful position in the world?
We did it. We did it, Joe.
In this documentary podcast, we're peeling back the layers of Kamala Harris's career, exposing the scandals, the missteps, and the awkwardness that have come to define her journey. Because here's the ugly truth. Kamala Harris is a scam artist, and that scam artist is now a hair's breadth from the Oval Office, where her incompetence and inauthenticity aren't just a problem, they're a dangerous, existential issue for the United States. Join me in this exclusive 3-part series, Scamala, Kamala Harris Unmasked. Stream episode 1 live tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern on Daily Wire Plus. Discover the benefits of becoming a member.
Okay, so they literally took the time out. See, I thought I had gathered some receipts on Kabami. Okay, back in 2019 when she first was initially trying to run for president. I gathered receipts on her back then, but I'm anxious to see what they in fact have on her. Okay, I'm anxious to see what they have on her. Now, hold on, beloveds. Okay, is this what I'm looking for? Hold on here. Okay, I'll have to try to find that at another time because I really just don't see it. And I had it all queued up earlier because I was looking at it. But nonetheless, I'm just going to play this audio that I have, right? Where this woman's talking about Kabami when she was in office in California. So I'm going to put an overlay on the screen, and the overlay I'm putting up is the woman that's speaking. Okay, so this is likely from the documentary that Shapiro was just talking about. Give me a second to cue it, beloved, and find the timestamp. Okay, here we go.
In Jamaica. In San Francisco, we threatened the parents of children, trying her best to act like correctly.
Hold on, beloved.
Man, this is horrible. Talking about this fake record that she. I think Kamala Harris wanted me as an example to threaten other single Black mothers. Like, this can happen to you if you don't get your kids in class. The police even put out a press release naming me and other Black single mothers like Toya Daniels, who got arrested the same day. But my hell just beginning. They gave me 2 charges. failure to supervise and encourage school attendance, and contributing to the delinquency of a minor. I couldn't believe it. They framed my daughter as a gang member and basically charged me with neglect. I spent the next 2 years in court fighting these charges. Kamala assigned her nastiest prosecutors to my case. My homicide prosecutors, my gang prosecutors. And they went over there and I said, when you go over there, look really mean. Like 10 different prosecutors. They kept pressuring me to plead guilty and spend a year in jail, but I kept refusing because I did nothing wrong. All the time I had to spend going to court, I was struggling to care for my Shakur.
Okay, so that's just a bit of it. Okay, now this woman said that they were demonizing these black women, and I absolutely believe it because that's what I found in my research back in 2019. Okay, and some people want to say that, oh, this isn't true, this and that. Well, it absolutely is true. Okay, please pay attention. The receipts and the proof and the evidence are there. You have but only to look for them. All right, don't take my word for it. Look things up for yourselves. All right. So, but here's the thing. Here's the thing, beloveds. And hold on, let me shout out whose channel that was. Hold on for just a second. Now, that was Pink Book Lessons. Okay, shout out to Pink Book Lessons because that's where I got that receipt from. All right. So I want to give credit where it's due, as per usual. Okay, so now with that all been said, listen, here's the thing that's come out. This came out just the other day. ABC urged to turn over any communications with Kamala Harris's campaign after network rejected whistleblower claims of collusion. I want y'all to pay attention. So a whistleblower came forward about ABC and said they were colluding with Kamala Harris. And didn't I tell you guys, and didn't you? In fact, some of you say that they were biased. And then I pointed out to you the lies that Kabami told, just as well as they pointed out the lies that Trump told. And they fact checked him right there at least 4 or 5 times, but didn't fact check Kabami not once. Let us not forget also that she had an earpiece in her ear. Okay, she had a device in her ear. Allegedly, that's what it looked like, one of those earring devices, okay, to throw people off so that people can be giving you the answers, giving you talking points. So Congress is demanding that ABC News and Vice President Kamala Harris hand over any communications with the network and campaign team related to the debate earlier this month. Well, what have we here support the arts? What have we here support the arts, beloved? Now, support the arts. I know you're going to hate it. I know you're going to hate it, but it's all true. I'm not making this up. And I saw you just put something in the chat about Trump. You said Trump washes his McDonald's somewhere in his nest. I don't care where Trump washes his McDonald's. I mean, anybody who's still eating McDonald's, well, that just tells me something about you because you are what you eat. Pay attention. But here's the thing. At the end of the day, we're not talking about Trump, beloved. We're talking about Kamala Harris. And see, here's the thing. You know what Kamala's people always do? The people who support Kamala, that's what they always do. Whenever someone brings to light something that Kamala has done, whenever she's exposed for something that she said or done, her supporters, they're no different than Trump supporters. That's why we started calling them Blue MAGA. Please pay attention. They're no different. They're equally as nonsensical, some of them, not all. They're equally as passive and giving her, the grace to let her get away with things and making foolish, nonsensical excuses for her behavior. Just like Trump supporters. So the thing I find interesting is whenever I or other people say something about Kabami that's viewed as contrary to her supporters, the first thing they do is they start talking about Trump. That's what she does too. So I get why they do it, but does that make it right? To me, that's just a way to gaslight and deflect and evade the issue, quite frankly, and to avoid holding Kabami accountable. You see, the good news is me, I hold both of them accountable. I go in on both of them about things they do. I have in the past and I continue to do so. You have to be biased. for one or the other. But the thing is, these people who love Kabami, like support the arts, no shade intended, but you'll say that I'm biased for Trump. When in fact, the truth of the matter is, beloved, is your bias for Kabami. Because see, you've never said anything positive about Trump. You've only said negative things about Trump. And when someone else says negative things about Trump, like when I say negative things about Trump, you'll agree. But if I tell the truth about certain things about Trump, like what he did for Black people with the First Step Act or the Platinum Plan, or freeing certain people from prison, pardoning people like Angela Stanton King, then you'll say I'm being biased. That's not bias. That's called truth. And so with that all being said, the truth never need to be biased, beloved. But thing is, when I tell the truth about Kabami, you don't want to hear the truth about Kabami. That's what you don't want to hear. And you also don't want to hear the truth about Trump if it's something that's favorable. So I'm not just talking about support the arts. I'm talking about anybody that supports Kabami. That's how a lot of these people do. So let me continue. Now, here's the thing. It comes after a sworn affidavit emerged from a whistleblower. Whew, they got caught in the act. Okay, Kabami is busted, beloved. So it comes after a sworn affidavit emerged from a whistleblower claiming to be a staffer with knowledge that ABC gave Kamala Harris an advantage in the debate with Donald Trump by providing her the questions ahead of time. Didn't I tell you all that? One's in the chat. One's in the chat if I told you that. Y'all know I did. I said it. You heard it here first. You heard it here first. And you say, well, Queen, how did you know that? The whistleblower just said it days ago. How did you know this at the time of the debate, Queen, to tell us that they gave her the questions ahead of time? I'm so glad you asked. Because my spirit told me. Let's not forget the Queen is prophetic. Okay? I'm just a person who knows things sometimes, all right, without rhyme nor reason. Because I have spiritual gifts that I, in fact, use. That's how I knew that there was going to be someone trying to assassinate Trump. And sadly, someone still might just do it and be successful the next time. Because in my dream, they were, unfortunately. And I hope it doesn't happen. But I also told you that Diddy would be arrested mid to late September. Now, other people copied my talking points, but they didn't say mid to late September. They said September. And I'm going to tell you why they didn't say mid to late September. Because they didn't know for sure if the Queen was right. They didn't know for sure if the Queen was right. So they didn't want to put a specific time frame and be so specific as I was. So they just said September. So that way, if it happens at the beginning, well, they can't say I was wrong because I said mid to late. This is them, the copiers. But me, myself, I boldly told you mid to late September. I told you that a myriad of times. And I knew because my spirit told me so. Okay? Because I'm a whole oracle up in this piece. So please pay attention. All right? Dorada said, Queen, breaking it down. Thank you, beloved. All right? New Orleans, Yahuwah's daughter says, Queen, she can't handle complicated questions. They have to keep the questions simple as if she's a seventh grader. Absolutely. Remember that show, that game show? Are you smarter than a fifth grader? Kamala Harris? No, you're not. And so they had to give her the questions ahead of time. I told you all that. I knew it. I knew it. And that's why she was so confident. You see, when she first walked out there, she was a little nervous. She was a little nervous. You could tell it was clear to see. But then as it went on, she was more sure of herself. She's getting a little cocky, sitting there laughing at Trump and all that. Now, the reason she was doing all of that is because she already knew the questions before they came. And she also had somebody in her ear telling her what to say to those questions. Okay? That's how that worked. So now it's been exposed. And I can't wait to tell somebody very close to me whom I told all of this to. And they said, oh, you're just painting narratives. Oh, that's not true. Oh, you can't prove it. You always say you know stuff, but you don't really have evidence other than your spirit told you. Well, here's the evidence, beloveds. Please pay attention. Please pay attention. Here is the evidence. Okay. You see, I always get verified. When I predict things, I may not have the evidence at the time. It may only be that I'm telling you I dreamt it, that my spirit told me, that I had a premonition. But at the end of the day, I'm always verified. How many of you remember? Listen to Support the Arts, Pardon Low Wounded Baby says this is difficult to believe. Oh, is it? It's not difficult to believe. Mr. Elevation says you're busted, Kabami. All right. Above all the drama says cook, queen. Oh, I'm cooking, beloved. So let me cook. All right. So that being said, I told y'all I had the receipts on Kabami and I was going to go in on her today. Told y'all it was coming. I've been meaning to tell you this for the past 2 days, but because of all the things that have happened with Diddy, haven't been able to get around to it. Okay? So I wish I could really clone myself so I could have somebody doing all these videos with all this information that I want to put out and don't have time to. But I digress. So with that all being said, you know, the truth always comes to light. That's all I'm saying. The truth always comes to light. So how many of you remember once in the chat for all of my day ones? Once in the chat, if you actually remember me predicting the venom back in 2020, before they ever told us about a venom, before they ever said anything about it. Once in the chat, if you remember me telling you about the venom, that it was coming. Ones in the chat, if you remember that, day ones. Day ones should remember. Okay, there's the ones. Now, put another one in the chat if you remember me predicting back in 2020 that there was going to be a terrorist attack April the 20th in Nova Scotia. And then there was. Ones in the chat if you remember. Put another one in the chat if you remember me stating to you on a live how I predicted 911 and even went so far as to call the Federal Aviation Administration and report to them about these dreams that I was having about these different flights going into buildings. This was a week before it happened. How many of you remember me telling you that? And then my friend that I didn't even know was watching the video jumped in the chat and verified and said, yeah, she absolutely did tell me that. Because it was her parents that I called. Because, see, I didn't know it was going to happen in New York. I just assumed it was going to happen in Atlanta because that's where I reside. And so I called her family. I told her, let's call your mom and dad and see if we can come stay with them because something bad's about to happen in the next few days. We're about to be under attack. And so with that all being said, her parents laughed at me, asked my friend if I was high, if I'd been doing drugs, because they didn't take me seriously until September 11th when those planes hit those buildings and people died. So I just want you all to pay attention. So when I tell you that I have predictions that I'm a whole oracle, I really am, because I take all advantage of my spiritual gifts. That's what the Most High gave them to all of us for. Some of y'all are never going to use them. You just doubt yourselves, doubt your abilities, and you just don't believe in it. And you think it's all poppycock. And some of you have been tricked into thinking that it's nefarious and satanic for us to be clairvoyant, to experience clairaudience, for us to know things, or for us to be telepathic or experience telekinesis, or remote viewing, or astral projecting, astral traveling. Some of you will never engage in those things because you don't allow yourself to, because you think that there's something wrong with it. Just as someone tried to tell me that there was something wrong with it when I first started dabbling in these things. But I've always been a spiritual person since I was a child. I've always, and my mother used to call me a witch because I would tell her things and they would happen. And she made me feel like I was a witch or like I was doing something bad that I wasn't supposed to do. It was only when she took me to church and told Pastor French to pray over me, because she was all into the church. And you see, that's the thing. A lot of people that are all into the church, they have been tricked and indoctrinated into thinking that these spiritual gifts that we have, that were given to us by the Most High, they've been tricked into thinking that these things come from Satan and that we're not supposed to dabble in them. But when you think about it, these some of the same spiritual gifts that, say Jesus had. Now, I'm not comparing myself to Jesus, don't get it twisted. But what I'm saying is, didn't Jesus do things that the average person couldn't do? Didn't he, in fact, have spiritual gifts and supernatural powers and abilities? Didn't they say that he walked on water? Didn't he heal the blind man and make him see? Didn't he raise Lazarus from the dead? I'm just asking. So they can read the Bible and believe those things, but can't believe that they themselves can have lucid dreams, that their spirit can leave the body and go and travel somewhere while you're asleep. That when you experience deja vu, it's likely because your spirit astral projected or traveled at some point and went to visit these places, that now in your current awakened state that you realize that it seems familiar to you. And this is why. Anyway, let me continue. Let me continue. Mr. Elevation said the Queen told Wig number one, said Wig number one was a fraud. Yeah, I did say she was a fraud because she is. She absolutely is a fraud. Okay, please pay attention. She's the same person that tried to copy my talking points and foolishly told her people that the Bible is a book of algorithms. She meant to say allegories because that's what the Queen said, but she said algorithms. Now, the first time she said it, I said, well, maybe she just misspoke. But no, she came back and said it again and again. And that's when I said, okay, she's not studying, she's not researching, she's just copying what I'm saying. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to copy what someone else simply says. It does take a smart person to come up with their own talking points and to have their own, pool of study and research. Okay? That takes wisdom. People copying, that doesn't take anything. Okay? That's just foolishness as far as I'm concerned. But let me continue. So they go on to say that there was a sworn affidavit that emerged from a whistleblower claiming to be a staffer with knowledge that ABC gave Kabami the questions in time to prepare her for the debate. So what does that say to you? Support the arts? I'm going to tell you what it says to me. It says to me that Kabami is not confident in herself and her abilities. It says to me that she didn't make her way to where she was because she's so intellectual and smart. It says to me that she took shortcuts. You see, it's a shortcut when somebody has to feed you the answers. It's a shortcut when someone has to give you the questions prior to a debate. Okay, these are shortcuts. When you have to sleep with Willie Brown, who's married 30 years your senior, so you can get a position that you know that you weren't entitled to have, that you know that you weren't qualified to hold. Shortcuts. It says to me that no matter how stupid she tries to make people think that Trump is, and maybe he is stupid to a degree, but even if he is, what does that say about her if someone had to give her questions so she could beat a person she deems as stupid or ignorant in a debate? Doesn't that make her ignorant as well? That's all I'm saying. Please don't get mad at the Queen. This is just the truth. So Trump claimed before the debate that Harris would somehow find a way to cheat since she is close friends with Disney executive Dana Walden. And he was right. So I guess he ain't that darn stupid. He had sense enough to know that. I guess he ain't that obtuse because he had sense enough to know that he didn't want to go on ABC, and now we see why. Okay, now we see why. And Senator J.D. Vance told the DailyMail.com on Tuesday that it would be a national scandal if the whistleblower's claim is true. Oh, it is true. It absolutely is true, in my opinion. Now, I can't verify it, but just by going from my instinct and my spirit, I absolutely believe it's true. And you know why I believe it's true? Because it's the same thing that I already said. Okay? That's all you said it too. I mean, it didn't take rocket science for us to figure it all out, right? So on debate night, it became abundantly clear that ABC News and its respective moderators had a biased agenda. Okay, this is what Senator Roger Marshall said. He wrote to ABC News President Aleem Karamidovic. I hope I said that right. Karamidovic, and Harris's campaign manager, Julie Chavez Rodriguez, and told them what he thought. Now, besides just whether questions were provided to Harris, Marshall is also questioning whether ABC intentionally left subjects off the table to seem more favorable to Harris. Oh, yeah, they definitely did that. Yeah, they did it. Now, they may never admit to it, but they absolutely did it, okay? Now, he also pointed to the real-time fact-checking of Trump by moderators Lindsey Davis and David Muir. Isn't that funny? I literally just talked to you all about David Muir yesterday, and I told you how some people have stopped watching his program and he's lost viewership because many people thought he was being biased, and that's because he was being biased. Okay, and so was Lindsay Davis. And by the way, they say Lindsay Davis is one of Kamala Harris's sorors. Okay, one of the Divine Nine. So goes on to say that he also pointed out how they in real time fact checked Trump. Okay, and whether that was meant to negatively affect the former president's performance on September the 10th, saying the American people deserve transparency and accountability from the mainstream media and a full accounting of whether ABC News coordinated with the Harris campaign to skew the debate's questions and fact checking in favor of the vice president. This is what Marshall wrote. Now, asked to respond to the preconditions detailed in the sworn whistleblower affidavit, Vance told the Daily Mail that if it happened, it was disgraceful. Okay, it should be a national scandal. Well, I don't like JD Vance. I don't like JD Vance. I think he's an idiot. But it would be a scandal. But I'll tell you what I also think should be a scandal. The fact that JD Vance admitted that he made up that stuff about Haitians eating cats. Yeah, he made that up. He admitted that he made that stuff up. But who took the blame for it? Trump. JD Vance said that he made that up. He called it cat memes. It was a whole lot more than a meme, okay? He likely heard about the story of that woman eating a cat from Canton. That woman is not an illegal immigrant, as I told you all and proved to you with receipts and video footage. But he says now that he told that story because there were other things that needed to be brought forward and the media was ignoring it, he said. So it was only when I started, if I have to make up a story about cat memes, this is what he said. Then that's what I'm going to do. So you're going to lie, JD Vance? You're going to lie on a community of people just to push your own agenda? I think Trump should actually find himself another running mate because this man's an idiot. That's not the first idiotic thing that he's said or done, as far as I'm concerned. Okay? So anyway, Vance, however, said that he will still participate in his upcoming debate with Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, hosted by CBS, even if he thinks it won't be a fair showdown. Well, I don't think Tim Walz has to cheat because Tim Walz strikes me as being a smart, intellectual person. Okay? Too bad for Trump that that's not his running mate, Seneca Babbitt. That's all I'm saying. Now, the Ohio senator is set for the vice presidential debate with Harris's running mate on October the 1st. And guess what? We're going to be watching it live right here, beloveds. We're going to be tuned in just like we were the last time. We're going to have our popcorn and our drinks, and we're going to sit back and laugh because it's going to be funny because JD Vance is a whole clown. Please pay attention. Now, the face-off is going to be hosted by CBS News in New York City. But even if the network cheats and leaks information to Governor Walz, Vance is remaining committed. I don't think they have to leak anything to Walz. Like I said, Kabami's the dumb one. That's why when she did that first interview, she had Walz sitting right there with her as her security blanket. Okay? She needed him there because he has the wherewithal to give a intelligent interview, to use intellectual talking points, to not just try to fill up the bowl with a whole bunch of word salad. Okay? Please pay attention. Now, goes on to say, on my own debate, the attitude that I take, and I know President Trump takes, is we should go anywhere. We should talk to everybody. This is what Vance said. Vance, what does that even mean? We should go anywhere. We should talk to anybody. Does he think that sounded, prophetic or prolific? I just have questions. And if that means that there's going to be a slightly biased debate, I don't care. That's the price of doing business. So anyway, I'm done talking about JD Vance because, as I said, I don't like him. I don't like him, and I think he's an idiot. Deronda said, and then the cackle. Exactly. Okay, exactly. And notice how she laughed in that audio that I played for you when the woman was talking about how they were demonizing the Black mothers, the single mothers who couldn't watch every little thing their children did. And in some cases, these women had sick children and they couldn't send them to school because they were sick. Sometimes the mothers may have been sick themselves. Now, of course, some of these people just didn't, monitor their children to make sure they went to school. Some of these people just don't care. There are some people who don't care about their children and don't care what they do, who act as friends rather than parents. And we know this because we have a lot of thugs, okay, of all different races and ethnic groups. I'm not just talking about Black people. We have a thug named Carly Gregg who shot and killed her mother and then shot her stepfather. We were just talking about that in the backup channel today, watching her in court. Clearly a thug. Okay, and she doesn't look like me, and she's only 14 years old. But we also have these kids that do look like me, 13 and 14 years old, who are out here gangbanging, who are out here trying to carjack people and rob people, breaking into houses. We also have kids who don't look like me doing the same thing. You remember the 12 and the 14-year-old who ran away from a group home and broke into this former police officer's home and took his gun and then had a shootout with the cops? Now, the cops didn't kill them, but I guarantee if those kids looked like me, they would have been dead. That's just the sad truth of it all. Please pay attention. So, yes, the debate whistleblower has come out and called Kabami out on her BS. And so now let's go to this interview that she did with a Black journalist. Started. All right, here we go. Let me just put up an overlay over this, beloveds.
It was only by the time I was a teenager that she could afford to actually buy her first home. And I know, and I identify with, I know where I come from.
Madam Vice President.
And I know, but I'm just gonna finish. I know that so many people work so hard and should have the opportunity to just get their foot in the door. Again, so it's not just about getting by, but getting ahead, please.
I'd like to ask you more about the opportunity economy. Housing is a part of it, as well as expanding the earned income tax credit, financial support, as you mentioned, for first-time buyers, and a $50,000 tax deduction for startups and small businesses. But I want to talk to you about the squeeze that millions of Americans are also dealing with that impacts their ability to work and make money, and that is childcare and elder care. And it's a squeeze for millions of people. In some parts of the country, it costs more for childcare than for rents. I think Bloomberg recently reported an average of $33,000 a year. So I'm just wondering, you mentioned that in your opportunity economy, a child tax credit, but that's just one part of an ecosystem. Please tell us, what plans will you propose to guarantee that families can actually afford childcare and elder care?
So to your point, it is sadly the state of affairs in our country that working people often have to decide to either be able to.
Oh, my Lord. I want you all to please pay attention if you can, honey. Please bear with me. I know it hurts your ears and makes them bleed. It does the same for me, but we have to listen to this foolishness. Please pay attention to how this woman can never just answer the damn question. She has to start with, oh, well, my mother did this, and my mother and the people in the village did this. And, we were a middle-class family. Well, the problem with this country is that, we have a lot of people who this and that. Girl, can you answer the damn question? Tell us what your policy is. Tell us how you're going to fix it. Tell us what the hell you're going to do. Don't keep telling us about your family, what you did and what happened when you were growing up. Nobody cares. That's all I'm saying. How many times do we have to hear this bullshit? But let's continue.
To work or be able to afford childcare. Like they can't afford childcare and actually do the work that they want to do because it's too expensive and it doesn't actually level out in terms of the expense versus the income. My plan is that no working family should pay more than 7% of their income in childcare. Because I know that when you talk about the return on that investment, allowing people to work, allowing people to pursue their dreams in terms of how they want to work, where they want to work, benefits us all. It strengthens.
Lord, it's only so much I can take, guys. Now she's sitting there deflecting and gaslighting, still not telling us how she plans to implement this policy. Okay? What's she going to implement this policy? Girl, what is your solution? How are you going to make this be effective? Now, rather than saying that, she's just saying a bunch of talking points that we all already know and we've heard, quite frankly, 1,000 times. Literally. Okay, that this will benefit us all. You know, we know that this is going to help us, and that if people can work and do the jobs that they like and work how they want to work, girl, let's.
The entire economy. We saw, for example, during the pandemic, what happened. And it sadly has dissipated as a conversation that we need to resuscitate, which is the number of women that had to leave the workforce because of a lack of childcare and home health care. And so many of our families, in particular women, end up carrying the responsibility. Men do too, of course. What we call people who are in the sandwich generation.
Exactly.
Who have young children and are also taking care of their parents. And it is just absolutely too expensive for them to be able to work and do that. So my plan is not only about 7% of income for working people for childcare, but also we need to do better for our childcare providers and our home healthcare providers in terms of ensuring that they receive the wages that they deserve based on the dignity of their work. I have spent time with home healthcare providers, and their work is some of the most taxing work you can imagine. And I actually, when my mother was sick with cancer, did a lot in terms of taking care of her. And the work that is about taking care of a loved one, in particular an elder, is extraordinarily heavy in terms of the emotional toll, the time it takes. And we do it because that is what we do. But not everyone has the ability to take time from work to do it. And they need help. And we need to make sure we have home health care workers that can help them. But I want to also get back to the earlier point that you made about extending the child tax credit. So part of my new approach is we need to expand the child tax credit. And so part of my plan that is under an opportunity economy is to extend and expand the child tax credit to $6,000 so that young families in particular, for the first year of their child's life, which is an extraordinarily important time in their development, have the resources to be able to buy a crib, buy a car seat, buy children's clothing, and not have to worry about whether they're going to be able to meet their other needs. And I don't need to remind anybody here, especially these esteemed journalists, but when we expanded the child tax credit a couple years ago, we reduced Black child poverty by half. And so again, if you talk about the benefit and if you think about the benefit to the economy overall, it strengthens our economy to do things like pay attention to affordable childcare, affordable home health care, and extending the child tax credit.
Madam Vice President, Black men, as you know, are a closely watched voting bloc. You've hosted Black men at your residence.
Yep.
You have engaged Black men and centered them in your economic opportunity tour.
Mm-hmm.
But polling shows that some Black men, particularly young Black men, are considering voting for Donald Trump, and they see him as better for the economy. What is your message to young Black male voters who feel left out of this economy, and how can your economic policies materially change their lives?
So I appreciate the spirit of the question, but I'll tell you, I've often been asked this question in a way that I've had to respond by first saying that I think it's very important to not operate from the assumption that Black men are in anybody's pocket. Black men are like any other voting group. You got to earn their vote. So I'm working to earn the vote. Not assuming I'm going to have it because I am Black, but because the policies and the perspectives I have understands what we must do to recognize the needs of all communities. And I intend to be a president for all people. Specifically as it relates to what we need to do, to your point around economic opportunity. Yes, I started way before I was at the top of the ticket at what I called an economic opportunity tour, focused on Black men. Understanding that, for example, we have so many entrepreneurs in the community who do not have access to capital, but they've got great ideas, an incredible work ethic, the ambition, the aspiration, the dream, but don't have the relationships necessarily. So my work has included, as vice president, getting billions more dollars into community banks, including working with the big banks to do that, so that we can increase access to capital for our small businesses, for our startups. Part of my plan under my economic opportunity plan going forward is that right now, startup entrepreneurs, small businesses only get a tax deduction of $5,000. Nobody can start a small business with $5,000. So I'm expanding that to $50,000. Understanding, again, that when people have the opportunity to have the resources to get started, they're going to put the good ideas, they're going to put the hard work into it. And part of what I also know is that our young Black men, just like any group of people, anybody, our small businesses are really the backbone of our economy overall. And when they do better economically, we all do better. Part of my work is about understanding what we need to do in dealing with, for example, the historic inequities that have faced the Black community around home ownership, right? I don't have to go through the history with anybody here about what that has meant in terms of redlining, what that has meant in terms of biases and home appraisals, and what the impact it has had on stemming the opportunity to build intergenerational wealth because of those obstacles. So part of the work that I have done and will continue to do is identify, speak truth about those obstacles, and address them. Another example is medical debt. 1 in 4 Black families or individuals is more likely.
I'm sorry, I've heard about enough. Okay, she's doing everything but answer the darn question specifically and directly. And you know what she does, and I want you to pay attention because she does something that is a common tactic for people who don't have a legit answer for the questions. She starts talking around the question, and she does it so much so, and she's really good at it. Okay, she talks around the question so much so that by the time she gets done talking, you don't even remember what the hell you asked her in the first place. You don't even remember what you asked her in the first place. See, that's a common tactic used by fools, because that's what she is. That's a common tactic used by fools who are not intellectual enough, who are not, able to express what they're going to do and how they plan to do it. And the reason they can't express or explain what they're going to do and how they plan to do it is because they're not going to do it. 9 times out of 10, they're not going to do it. You see, here's the thing. If you really plan to do something, you have it all laid out. For example, if I said to you guys, let me just think of something real quick. If I said to you, tomorrow, guys, we're all going to get together and we're going to make it rain. We're going to manifest the rain because we're having a drought. We're going to manifest the rain just like the ancestors used to do. Now, that sounds good, but how can I make that happen? And then you say, Queen, well, how are you going to make it rain? How are we going to manifest the rain? And I said, well, what we're going to do is we're all going to get together. We're going to hold hands and we're going to stand and we're going to get in a circle. We're going to gather. We're going to all focus and set our intentions. And we're going to visualize it raining. And we're going to pray to the Most High for the rain because we're having a drought. And we know that it's incumbent upon it raining for us to be, able to grow our crops and harvest and for us to be healthy and all of those things, right? So this is what we're going to do. Now, that's a plan. Now, if you say to me, after I tell you I'm going to get together with you and we're going to manifest and make it rain, and you say, well, Queen Ahmadiyyah, how are we going to manifest and make it rain? And then I say, well, see, here's the thing, it has to rain. A lot of times we need rain because, hey, without the rain, crops won't grow. You know, sometimes it gets really hot and sticky, and sometimes if it gets real hot, too hot, people can have heat strokes. And you don't want to have a heat stroke because then you may have to go to the hospital. And you don't want to be in the hospital because you can catch communicable diseases or infectious diseases in the hospital. So you don't want to go there. And, you know, sometimes, you know, we want things to happen, but they just don't happen. But we know that it's incumbent upon the rain for everybody to be healthy, happy, and thriving. The rain makes things flow smoothly. Ha! What the hell does that have to do with me helping y'all to manifest the rain? You see what I'm talking about? That's nothing but a bunch of gibberish, a bunch of nonsensical BS and word salad trying to get you off track. So you don't even remember what you asked me in the first place because I don't have the answers for you. Because I'm just talking to hear myself talk and hoping that you'll fall for it. Because I'm BSing you. I'm running game on you. I'm bullshitting you is all I'm saying. That's what Kabami's doing. She's giving us a bunch of bullshit. She's saying what she thinks we want to hear, but not giving us any solutions to how she plans to accomplish any of the things that she's promising. Support the arts, beloved. You need to wake up. You need to wake up. Now, mind you, I'm not telling you to vote for Trump, Dr. Shiva, who I'm voting for. I'm not telling you to vote for anyone because it's up to each individual and vote in your best interest. But what you need to do is critically think. Don't just be caught up in your emotions because, as I told you all on the spiritual channel a myriad of times, you have to learn to rise above your emotions, like the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan says. You have to learn to rise above your emotions. That's the only time you can come into a clear frame of thinking. That's the only time you can be logical and make it make sense. When you're all caught up in your feelings and you're just thinking about emotions and all of that, what did I tell you all on the spiritual channel today? That emotions sometimes are mind control. If you have anger, grief, depression, those things are nothing but mind control. They can make you do things that you normally wouldn't do. But when you allow your emotions to take the wheel, this is what happens. This is why you get mad when people tell you something about someone you like that you don't want to hear, even though you know it's the truth. All right? And this is why some people can't handle the truth. Now, with that all being said, I've heard enough of her foolishness. So let us now go to this video that this woman did, and I happened to share it on Twitter. Or shall I say X? Queen, did you talk about Mark Robinson corn? No, I didn't. Was I supposed to, beloved? Was I supposed to talk about Mark Robinson? Who is Mark Robinson? And what's he got to do with the Queen? Who is Mark Robinson, beloved? Hold on. Let me look him up real quick and see what you're talking about. Oh, you talking about the guy who calls himself a black Nazi? Yeah, I didn't talk about him, nor had I planned on it. I did see that fool. I didn't even know his name, but I did see a headline that said he called himself a black Nazi. But you mean to tell me that he's on a corn site? Thank you for telling me. So now I am going to talk about him. Now I absolutely am going to talk about him, all right? Because it's all hilarious to me. Okay, so anyway, with that all being said, thanks for the heads up. We'll talk about him next. But anyway, let me finish going in on Kabami right now. So this lady did a video that I shared on X. And quite frankly, she went in on Kabami, just as I myself have done. So let's get into it. Support the arts, beloved. This is for you. Somebody had to say it.
Kamala Harris, you are as fake as press on nails, and I can see right through you. Let me help you out with something, because maybe somebody must not have told you. On TV and on every interview, giving the same tired answer. So let me just help you out. When you are asked a question, why don't you try answering the question? People are not stupid. We can tell when you're dancing around the issue instead of answering the question. When you're asked, are people better off now or during Donald Trump's presidency? When you're asked about the border or your policies on immigration, answer the question. We don't care about your middle class upbringing. We don't care that your mama had to save up to buy a house. We don't care about your summer job at McDonald's. We don't care about the lawns of the neighborhood that you lived in and how everybody took care of their lawn. That does not matter to me, and it doesn't matter to anybody else. I want you to answer the question, because if people, my mind is already made up too, Kamala, because I can see right through you and I know that you fake. But for somebody else whose mind is not made up, let me just help you out. Answer the question so that they can decide between you and your opponent. I don't know if you're just trying to paint him as the villain and try to skate by to be the, like you the hero or a nice person. We don't care about that, because being a hero and voting for the nice person is not what pays the bills. You understand what I'm saying? We can see through you. And that fake black accent that you keep doing, girl, you need to stop, because you know good and well that you ain't got no black accent. You know good and well that you was born in from San Francisco and in Canada. Where you get that black accent from? Stop doing that, trying to be relatable. This does not make you relatable. It makes you look fake. And those of us like me, we can see through that. We can see through that. We can see through every interview that you do, that instead of answering the questions that are on the minds of the millions of American people who have the power to elect you to the highest office in the land, you're dancing around the issue. And you want to talk about how you was born a middle-class kid and how your mother had to save up to buy a house. I don't care, Kamala. So just to recap, stop dancing around the issue. Answer the question. If you're going to do an interview, answer a question that you are asked at the interview.
Yes, this lady. I love her. I absolutely love her. She said the exact same things that I've been saying. Okay, I saw this video on Twitter a few days ago and I had to retweet it. At the end of the day, I absolutely love it. This is all that I've been saying. Support the arts. It isn't just me. Support the arts. It's many people don't like Kamala because she's fake and fraud. Didn't I show you all a video of her having that fake arse Southern accent and the fake arse black scent and the fake arse Jamaican accent? Please pay attention, honey. And then some of the fools that follow her and support her tried to say it was code switching. Honey, that's not code switching. That's being fake. That's being fake. Because here's the thing. I naturally have a Southern accent because I was raised in Kentucky and I'm from Georgia. So I'm from the South and raised in the South. With that all being said, I have a legit Southern accent that I really can't hide. Sometimes I wish I could. But here's the thing. At the end of the day, Kamala doesn't. So what part of the game is that? Her faking that she has a black scent or a Southern drawl? How is that code switching? Code switching is when you specifically talk more professional, when you're in a professional setting or environment than you would if you're just chilling at home with your friends and family. See, at home, we can talk with ebonics. We can use slang or what have you. But when we're at work or we're in the courtroom, if we have sense, we do speak with correct grammar and English. Now, they can try to say Kabami's code switching, but no, she isn't, because she doesn't have a Southern accent naturally. So that's fake. She doesn't naturally have a Jamaican accent, so that's fake. She doesn't normally talk with a black sense, so that's fake. Now, if she were just talking with improper grammar at some points, and then she's speaking likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. With that all being said, I'm going to put an overlay up because someone did a video that someone sent me, and I really liked what they were saying and showing about Kamala. Now, this is Kamala sitting down with an interview, and Oprah is there, and then someone asked her a question. And again, Kamala starts using word salad, and Oprah tries to help her, tries to reel her in and ask the question in a different way or get her to answer the question in a different way. Kamala doesn't seem to get it. She's just not that smart. Sorry to say, but it's true. Actually, I'm not sorry to say it. I'm glad to say it, but it's true. Okay, so let's get into it. I'm going to put up an overlay. And let me shout out LFR family because that's who I got this video from. Here we go.
Career has always been about saying, let's fix problems. Let's address them.
What will you do about the border? Just say whatever's on your mind. Say whatever's on your heart. I want to hear what you got.
Running on problems or fixing problems?
Hold on, let me get to the question first.
We've been about saying, let's fix problems.
Hold on, let me just pause
Let's
this
address
until I
the
get the
needs.
question.
Oprah Winfrey did this big event tonight, because they're trying to get Kamala some press. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get Kamala some press because she refuses to have any interviews with anyone that's not going to be a softball interview, right? So here was this one opportunity. A black man came up to the microphone and asked her a question. She wanted to have a town hall type of thing. This brother asked her, "What will you do about the border? What will you do about the border?"
Now, I want you all to pay attention because she just said in the last interview with a black journalist that she was trying to get the black men's support. Well, honey, this ain't how you do it, okay? Because you can't bullshit us for too long, at least not the smart and woke ones amongst us. So now listen to her answer as the man asked his question or after he asked his question.
This was her answer. I promise you can't make this. You cannot make this stuff up. And watch how Oprah Winfrey tries to give her a better way to answer it. And she still, oh my God, word salad. Somebody take out the Caesar dressing, please. Here we go. Vinaigrette. I'll take some apple vinaigrette. Okay, here we go.
It's to the point about what does leadership really look like? And is it about you or is it about the people? Right. Is it about running on problems or fixing problems?
Now, hold on. Let me just say this in case you didn't hear what he said. The young man asked her, what does she plan to do about the border? And she starts talking about being a leader. What does that have to do with it? But let's continue.
My work and my career has always been about saying, let's fix problems. Let's address the needs because we know it's within our capacity to do that.
So to answer Justin's question, now that bill... Hold on. Before she fixes that, what the hell is she talking? My answer is still, I want to create solutions. He asked you, what will you do for the border? It takes a leader to start leadering and lead other people to become leaders. And you got to grab them by the bootstraps and grab them and caress them and get some Diddy oils.
Not Diddy oils.
You don't need no Diddy oils. Answer the daggone question. Answer the question. The question was, what will you do for the border? Word salad, I promise. I'm not going to stop it this time. I'm just going to play it all the way through. It's just getting on my nerves. I apologize. It's just getting on my daggone nerves, man.
It gets to the point about what does leadership really look like? And is it about you or is it about the people?
Thank you, Dave.
Is it about running on problems or fixing problems? My work and my career has always been about saying, let's fix problems. Let's address the needs because we know it's within our capacity to do that.
What will you do about the border? Let's fix problems. Because back when I was an attorney, I was all about fixing problems. What happened when you was the daggone VP? Huh? Were you fixing problems then? Or you just want to skip that time, huh? Then you just want to skip that time? Okay, we're not going to talk. We're going to act like that never happened, okay? Just like we're going to act like you became the nominee legally when you didn't. Okay, I'm not even going to talk about that. Okay, here.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. Let me pause right there for a second because I forgot to point this out when she was talking to the black journalist and she made the comment saying, when I was at the top of the ticket. Girl, you were never at the top of the tickets, okay? They just put you there. Okay, they just put you there. There should have been a vote to see who was going to run because Biden stepped down, but they just put her there, which lets me know that they have an agenda, which lets me believe that the fix is already in, as I've told you a myriad of times. Please pay attention. Troy says she's still in office. Exactly. So why hasn't she done a darn thing? Okay, let's continue.
Justin's question. Now that bill has gone, it hasn't passed, will you reintroduce that?
Absolutely. And when I am elected president of the United States, I will make sure that bill gets to my desk and I will sign it into law.
And he clapped Like, that was the answer to my question. I asked you, what will you do for the border? And she talking about when there's a problem, you got to find the problem, and we all got to come together as leaders, and we got to fix the problem. Back when I was an attorney, I fixed problems.
Okay. So shout out to LFR family once again, like I said, because that's his video. I'm sorry, Support the Arts says that they did vote for her. No, they didn't. They absolutely did. There was no vote. Okay. That's why Barack Obama took a while to endorse her. That's why he didn't get on board immediately. Because I told you all, he wanted the guy. What's the guy's name? Mike something. The guy that was a former astronaut. What's the guy's name? Somebody help me out because it escapes me at the moment. Hold on. Senator who was an astronaut. What's his name? Mark Kelly. Mark Edward Kelly. That's who Barack wanted. That's who Barack wanted. And he wanted there to be a vote. He wanted them to choose between a certain set of people. That's what they should have done. They just gave it to Kabambi, and she, quite frankly, didn't deserve it. And she's not worthy of it. She's an idiot. She's just going to give us more of the same bullshit that Biden has given us. That's all that is. And so I, for one, am not thrilled. Okay? I, for one, am not thrilled. So with that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast because I've spent enough of my good, fresh oxygen talking about Kabambi. But don't worry, I'll be talking about her again real soon. Please pay attention. Okay? So anyway, I love you all to life. I hope you all enjoyed the broadcast because I sure did. I enjoyed it with you. And I will talk to you all again soon. Now, for those of you who follow the spiritual channel, don't forget the members on the spiritual channel, the live that we started today, we'll be doing part 2 tomorrow. And for the rest of you, I'll be posting something for you as well. Reggie says, thanks, Queen. You're welcome, beloved. Okay. With that all been said, Miss AP says, no loss. Hold on. I'm sorry, I lost that comment. Okay, so anyway, with that all being said, everyone please like the video on the way out. Support the Art says, you know what? I don't even really like Kamala that much. She is just the one between the White House and Trump. Okay, and you know what? I'm glad you admitted that because here's the thing. Like someone that I follow on TikTok by the name of Dr. Julio, who was supposed to be on the show, but he had an emergency one time when I was going to have him on here. I'll have him on at some point. But Dr. Julio did a video talking about people like you support the arts. And I'm glad you admitted that because that's what I was already thinking. But what he said in the video was that it's not that y'all like Kabambi so much. It's just that you hate Trump so much. You see, that's what it is. It's not that you like Kabambi so much. It's just that you don't like Trump. Well, here's the thing. No matter how much I like or dislike someone, at the end of the day, it's about self-preservation. You see, self-preservation is the first law of nature. So whether I like you or not doesn't really matter when it comes to survival. When my survival instincts kick in, I'm going to vote for the person that's going to help me survive. And if that person has to be someone whom I really don't like, then so be it. I don't have to like you. But if me choosing your policies is going to help me to survive and get ahead, well, that's just what I have to do. And that's called self-preservation, as I said. So with that all being said, Troy said support the arts is a distraction. Well, support the arts may be a distraction, beloved, for people who are easily distracted or people who are one-track minded, but nobody distracts the queen. Nobody or nothing distracts the queen. Please pay attention to how I can talk about a myriad of things, okay, and not get sidetracked. Now, right? Let us not forget. That's right, Troy says Dr. Shiva for president. Absolutely. All right, because I can vote for Dr. Shiva in good consciousness, okay, and have a clear conscience that I made the right choice, win, lose, or draw. But if I voted for Kabambi or Trump, I might not feel so good about it. I might not feel so good about it. But if they were the only two choices and I had to choose one, since I don't like either, what would I do? Well, I just have to choose the one not the lesser of the two evils, as some of our Black folk love to say, but I would have to choose whichever policies better or best aligned with what I'm trying to in fact accomplish. And that's what I would advise everyone to do. It shouldn't be about race. It shouldn't be about whether someone's Black or white or whatever. It should be about the policies that the person holds. Oh, and you know what? I'm sorry. I literally almost forgot to talk about that nefarious man, Mark Robinson, that Dan just informed me about. I almost got up out of here without going in on him. So let's get into it because I got time today. Just want y'all to know I got time today. This fool said I'm a Black Nazi. North Carolina GOP nominee for governor made dozens of disturbing comments on a corn forum. I want y'all to pay attention. So let's get into it. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. Hold on, I'm going to pause this real quick. And I'm going to share my screen. Hold on, is this a video they're playing? Okay, so I'm just going to read this because I can't tell what they're trying to do here, if this is a video or whatever. So here's what they say. Mark Robinson, the controversial and socially conservative Republican nominee for governor of North Carolina, made a series of inflammatory comments on a pornography website on the message board more than a decade ago, in which he referred to himself as a Black Nazi and expressed support for reinstating slavery. Woo, honey. And he's Black. That's what's scary. Okay? And so this is what a CNN K-File investigation found. Now, I want you all to pay attention because you know who this reminds me of just from hearing his name when he calls himself a Black Nazi? That reminds me of the person in my chat that was clearly trolling who calls himself Black Klansman. You all know the Black Klansman that's been in the chat, and we don't really see him now. But one of my moderators told me that the Black Klansman, in fact, made a video about the Queen saying that I was for Trump. After I specifically told him that I'm for Dr. Shiva. Now, the reason he says I'm for Trump is because, again, he doesn't like what I say about Kobani. He doesn't seem to notice or mind when I say negative things about Trump, but he gets so upset in his feelings when I say negative things about Kobani. But nonetheless, he's the one that calls himself a Black Klansman. So do I really care what he thinks? But let me continue. So goes on to say, despite a recent history of anti-transgender rhetoric, Robinson said that he enjoyed watching transgender pornography. Really? A review of archived messages found in which he also referred to himself as a perv. Wow, really? Sounds like you're a bit more than a Black Nazi. Now, the comments which Robinson denies making predate his entry into politics and current stint as North Carolina's lieutenant governor. They were made under a username that CNN was able to identify as Robinson by watching or matching a litany of biographical details and a shared email address between the two. I mean, it's the embarrassment of it all for me. He should be. And so goes on to say many of Robinson's comments were gratuitously sexual and lewd in nature. They were made between 2008 and 2012 on Nude Africa, which is a pornographic website that includes a message board. The comments were made under the username Miss Mini Soldier, a moniker Robinson used frequently online. You see how people can come and dig up dirt on you when you don't even expect them to? And now Robinson listed his full name on his profile for Nude Africa, as well as an email address that he used on numerous websites across the internet for decades. Let me give you all a word of advice. Let me give you all a word of advice before I continue. And I want you all to listen. I want you to listen good. You can thank me later. Okay, you can thank me later. Hold on. Bape Rex is posting a comment. Let me see here. I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. Bape Rex says, I'm posting video of foreigner channel going from third world videos to posting ish about Black Americans. Oh, okay, beloved. All right. Now, so let me say this. At the end of the day, This man is saying all of this stuff, right? Now, how did CNN find out that it was him on the message boards? They said he used an email that he's been using for years. See, here's the thing some of you may not know, and I'm going to give you this information and you can thank me later, as I said. You see, me being a professor and all of that, I've told my students before that if in fact, and I'm an online professor, an adjunct professor, I don't have time to go to campus these days, but with that all being said, I want you all to pay attention because here's the thing. You know, if you use an email for business purposes, such as sending out resumes, applying for jobs, or what have you, in any professional capacity, you should never use that same email for your social media. And here's why. Because whatever email that you use for social media, someone can simply find out all of your social media things, information, all the posts and whatever, by simply using that email, tracking it by that email. You see, Sweet D said nothing can be deleted. Exactly. The internet is forever. So if you're posting, for example, if you're applying to college and you've posted some things on your social media where you're scantily clad or some things that, you know, were unfavorable to a certain group of people, like Mr. Black Nazi Mark Robinson clearly did, saying that he doesn't care for transgender people, but then you go on a card site and you talk about how much you love them and want to get with them, allegedly. So when you do things like that, or if you're doing something like what he was doing, the last thing you need to do, and again, you can thank me later, is add the professional email to that site. Okay? This is something I tell my students all the time. All right, that I have told them a myriad of times. Because if you're trying to get a good job and you've got your degree and all of that, do you really want to be held back by something foolish that you posted on social media? So just use a different email. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so with that bit of information, consider that your lifeline. So anyway, goes on to say that Robinson listed his full name on his profile for Nude Africa, as well as an email address that he used on numerous websites across the internet for decades. CNN is reporting only a small portion of Robinson's comments on the website, given their graphic nature. So they were so perverse, shall I say, that they can't even post all of them. Many of Robinson's comments on Nude Africa stand in contrast to his public stances on issues such as abortion and transgender rights. You see, sometimes the one that barks the loudest, the dog that barks the loudest, is the one that's doing the dirt. These people that act like they're so homophobic and always talking about people that are LGBTQ or trans or whatever, sometimes that's what they really like secretly, or that they really are secretly. And so they try to express a disdain for it so no one finds out who they really are or what they really like. Please pay attention. And that includes a lot of these pastors, Mr. TD Snakes. Now, I'm not saying TD Snakes likes any of that stuff, but I find it all interesting that he was at those Diddy parties. But let me continue. Allegedly. So, publicly, Robinson has fiercely argued that people should use bathrooms only that correspond to their gender that they were assigned at birth. He also said transgender women should be arrested for using women's restrooms, saying that if you're a man on Friday night and all of a sudden Saturday you feel like a woman and you want to go into the women's bathroom in the mall, you will be arrested, or whatever we got to do to you. We're going to protect our women. While he was secretly on a whole corn site trying to hook up with transgender women. I find it all nefarious. Dan, shout out to you again for putting me on to this, okay? Because it's the scoop. Now, yet privately under the username Mini Soldier on Nude Africa, Robinson graphically described his own sexual arousal as an adult from the memory of secretly peeping on women in public gym showers as a 14-year-old. So he's been Robinson recounted the story as a memory he had, or that he said he still fantasized about. Freak. I said the freaks come out at night, but clearly they come out in daylight too. That's all I'm saying. He said, I came to a spot that was dead, that was a dead end, but had two big vent covers over it. It just so happened that it overlooked the showers. I sat there for about an hour and watched as several girls came in and took showers. So he was a whole peeping Tom. Is that what he's confessing to? Want y'all to pay attention. CNN is not publishing the graphic sexual details of his story. Thank God. I don't need to hear any more. Okay. I went peeping again the next morning, he says. Ain't he proud of it? A whole peeping Tom, and he's thrilled. I want y'all to pay attention. Funny thing is, this is actually synchronicity. Because for those of you who follow the backup channel, you know that I reported on a peeping Tom just today. It's all crazy, right? So you all may call it a coincidence, but no, I don't believe in coincidences. This is synchronicity for me. That means the universe is trying to tell me something, trying to get my attention. Okay, so let me continue. Now goes on to say, I went peeping again the next morning, but after that, I went back to the ladder, and the ladder was locked. So those 2 times were the only times I got to do it. Ah, the memories, he says. I bet his parents are so proud. Now, in other comments on Nude Africa, Robinson discussed his affinity for transgender pornography. After he just said they should be locked up for using the bathroom with women? This is all nefarious. Please pay attention. He says, I like watching. I'm not going to use the word that he used because I think it might be disrespectful to transgender people. I'll just say transgender. But he used the word that rhymes with Danny. And I don't like calling people that. He said, I like watching transgenders on corn. That's effing hot. It takes the man out while leaving the man in. And yeah, I'm a perv too. It's so crazy. You know what this is giving me? Oh, Dad, I am so tickled. You know what this is giving me, beloveds? This is giving me J. Edgar Hoover because he didn't like the Black community and he went in on the Black community, said that the biggest threat to America was Negro unity, but at the same time, he was part Black. No one knew back then, but we know now. And also, he always was talking trash about gay people. But then we find out years later that he was cross-dressing all along. Had a whole boyfriend, and the mob was blackmailing him, supposedly. And that's why he couldn't take them down. So instead, he took down the Black Panther Party. Please pay attention. So in an interview with CNN on Thursday, Robinson repeatedly denied that he made the comments on Nude Africa. So that wasn't you, sir. Saying this is not us. These are not our words. And this is not anything that is a characteristic of me. Presented with a litany of evidence connecting him with the mini soldier username on Nude Africa, he said, I'm not going to get into the I think this is a typo. I don't know what they're trying to say. But anyway, basically said he's not going to get into a back and forth, okay, with somebody who has manufactured these salacious tabloid lies. So somebody made it all up. Who would take the time? Who was back 10 years ago? Because what, this years ago, about a decade or so? Who would go back and make lies up on him that were a decade old? Did somebody do it then? Or did somebody do it now and try to act like it's old news? He clearly did it. But let me continue. Now, CNN first reached out to Robinson Tuesday morning with evidence connecting him to the comments on Nude Africa. It took his campaign 2 days to respond and issue a denial. That's because he had to try to see if he could cover his tracks or he could find some way to act as though he didn't do it. He was trying to get his lies together is all I'm saying. It doesn't take you 2 days to come up with a reason or an explanation for something that you did not do. Okay? Somebody accuses me of something I know I didn't do it. I can settle it right there. I can drop receipts right there. I need to wait 2 days. I don't even need to wait 2 hours. So anyway, and that's just like when I tell you about people copying the Queen's talking points and trying to act like they said stuff first when clearly I did. All you got to do is go look at the timestamps on their video and mine. That's all you got to do. to say, well, wait a minute, let me get back to you on that. Let me see how I can prove. No, the truth is very easy to prove. Please pay attention. So with that all being said, he denied it, and it took him 2 days to do so. Now, during his interview with CNN, Robinson repeatedly said the issues that faced North Carolinians were more important than what he called tabloid trash. See, that's another thing. Try to discount the rhetoric. When you know you did something, you know you said something, the best way to try to get out of answering to it or being held accountable for it is to start deflecting and gaslighting by talking about something else that's more important. Why are we still talking about this? Like, we should be worried about what the North Carolinians are worried about. Okay? Sounds like Kabami. So goes on to say he steered the conversation toward attacking his opponent in the race, Democrat Josh Stein, the state's attorney general. Isn't that what Kabami did during the debate and other times in interviews when she was asked tough questions that she didn't want to answer? She started talking about what Trump wasn't doing. That's what she did. She started talking about what Trump was and wasn't doing. And then goes on to say, likes up, everyone, please like and share. Goes on to say, we're not getting out of this race. There are people who are counting on us to win this race. Hope none of those people are transgender, because clearly you're fake and fraud. Okay? Want to get with them behind closed doors, but publicly want to try to shame and humiliate them and demean them. Now, they say that he, in fact, has a history of controversial statements, and I find it all nefarious. I'm going to stop right there and go ahead and wrap it up. But I just want to tell you all, at the end of the day, this is all so crazy to me. He's clearly busted. He can't talk his way out of this, okay? Can't talk his way out of it, buddy, you're busted. So he's been exposed. And what did Cat Williams say at the beginning of the year? This is the year that all lies will be exposed. You're either going to be on God's side or the other side, okay? It's not about race. This isn't about race. This is about the good side and the bad. It's about good versus evil. What side are you on? Support the arts. You should ask yourselves, beloveds. Okay, so with that all been said, I love you all to life. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Peace.
Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece. This time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me?